Hello, everybody. Welcome to Royal We Monday Night Live Chat. Tanya is in the house. Hey, Tanya, what's going on? It's good to see you here. Hopefully you can, hopefully you all can hear me. Tanya says she sent something. Let's see. See if I got a text message. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't get anything. Hello. Hi. There's everybody. There's Tanya. Right on. Hi, everybody. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie's in the house. Alon Savvy 64. Tim Trump. Hello. How you doing, guys? It's so good to see you all here. And welcome to Monday Night Royal We Live Chat. I am going to get the telephone number. Go ahead and post that up there. Anybody is welcome to call. As always, anybody's welcome to call for Royal We Live Chat Monday night. So long as you understand, you're going to be live. You're going to be on the show, and people are going to be hearing you. Now, also, I want to let you know that we started late, and that my fault. I apologize for that. We're 30 minutes late, and so we'll go for 30 minutes or however long, as things pick up, whatever it is we're doing, phone calls or whatever, we'll go with it like we always do. But my apologies for running late tonight. But let me go ahead and get the telephone number up. If I can find it here. I don't have the number memorized still. I've got too many telephone numbers and passwords to memorize, and I hate it all. I hate having everything has a password. We are a culture of password memorizers. We've got so many codes and passwords, and every YouTube channel has its own password. Did I tell you that like a couple weeks ago I updated my system and I lost my Google account for Royal We Fellowship, and I didn't remember the password for YouTube, and that's really what happened. I didn't remember the Google password, and it all got shut down, and it didn't like that I didn't know the password, and so I had to go through hoops and settings and to try to reset that password. But anyways, it's good to see all of you here, and I'm happy that you're all here. Telephone number is posted now. Boom. Call that number, and I'm going to pin that to the top. Telephone number's at the top. Pinned, and ready to be dialed. Who's going to be the first one to dial that telephone? Who's going to be the first one to dial that number? Hi, Devonna. Irwin, it's good to see you. How you doing? Revived Lady, Mark Hobbs, D. Quilter. It's good to see you all here. It's good, all you late birds. All you late birds out tonight, and being on here with me is awesome. So hopefully, I'll share with you a little bit about what I'm doing. If you go to the Royal We channel, gosh, I know that I have changed and reformatted the Royal We so many times, and you're probably all going to say, Kevin, you're always reformatting it. But I really truly believe, and when I say reformat, I mean reformat the videos, right? How I deliver the message, how I talk about narcissistic abuse and all this and that. And I have spent 4 years, right? This is my 5th year now, and 100,000 subscribers, and I think I've nailed it down to the types of videos that I'm good at making and I know I can make. And so, if you look at the Royal We channel now, I've done it. I've accepted my own challenge, and it's written in stone. If you go to the Royal We channel now, you will see on the channel banner, it says Monday Motivations. You can look at it right now if you want. Monday Motivations, Tuesdays Tips, Wednesdays Reactions, and Thursdays Thoughts. Thank you, Salon Savvy. So, Salon Savvy says, love the video today. Thank you. Every Monday, you can expect to see a video that fits in that style. It's not going to look exactly like that, but it's going to be that style because it's going to be called Monday's Motivation. So I'm going to be doing a motivational type just talk, and hopefully some kind of I'd like to make sure I'm doing some kind of an activity. I'd like to do something motivational. So it's just to go with the thing. It's Motivational Monday. Tuesday is tips, and so tomorrow I'm going to be putting tips up there. Just how to deal with this, how to deal with that. The easiest things that work. This is what works. Tips, tips, tips. So Tuesday's tips. Wednesday is going to be reaction video. The Wednesday reactions is going to be like what I just did with Jordan Peterson, for those of you who saw that this past week. And I want to do more of that reaction style videos. And then Thursday's thoughts is going to be just some thoughts, just random, some thoughts about narcissism and the world and whatever. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking up. In the past, the Royal We, what I've strived, I really had no system. I really had no order. It was very erratic, and which is why a lot of the Royal We videos would be, I do some just sitting in here, right? And then all of a sudden I'd have a video of me out climbing down a building, right? And I think it just confused people, and they're like, well, what is this, right? And so I think that now I've formulated it so that I'm doing a little bit of what I love each day. So I'm doing Monday's motivations, Tuesday's tips, Wednesday's reactions, Thursday's thoughts, and I'm going to just get it. It's going to be in a habit, and I'm writing it in stone. It's on the channel banner, and so I'm committed every day to have one of these videos uploaded. So I'm anxious to see how people respond. I think it's going to mix it up. It's not going to be so repetitive. I'm not going to be sitting in here just talking in this backdrop for days. Which, even that, I mean, people get bored with that. So I really believe that by doing this weekly kind of mix but it's always set. It's the same things. Monday's motivations, Tuesday's tips, Wednesday's reaction, Thursday's thoughts. I really think it's going to do it. Right on. So thank you all. Ellen, you're not the only one late. I'm late. Tanya, I'm glad you liked the video today. I'm glad that's what you need to hear. Maryam, welcome. Welcome to the Royal We community. It's good to have you here. Everybody welcome Maryam. She's new. And Maryam, you are amongst some lovely people here. And I'm sure they will greet you and help you out. And anybody's welcome to call. So let's see if there's any questions about the format for the Royal We throughout the weeks. Again, if you look at the banner on the Royal We channel, it's going to be Monday is motivations, Tuesday is tips, Wednesday is reactions, Thursday is thoughts. So expect that every week, and I hope to keep it exciting in that way. Tim Trumpke, Kevin, have you ever made a video on the parade of the Good Samaritan? No. I have seen a toxic religious people use it as a method to manipulate. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that up. The parade of the Good Samaritan. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to look it up. It's a good question. A dequilter, the video series lineup sounds awesome. Sounds fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Jamie, hi Kevin, hi everyone. Need to get on here more often. Yeah, we all do. We need to be on here more often. Oh, parable, not parade. Okay. So Tim says, let me see if I can read that question again then. So have you ever made a video on the parable of the Good Samaritan? I haven't. I know I remember the story of the Good Samaritan. I'm just having a hard time in my mind right now thinking of what it... I'm going to look it up real quick. I think that's... I'm going to look... Why not do a video right now? Good Samaritan. When you type in Google on Good Samaritan, there's actually businesses that have the name Good Samaritan. I just put Good Samaritan in Google. This is how I look stuff up in the Bible. I literally, if I think of a concept and I just type it up in Google, and it usually takes me to the Bible scripture, but in this case, I have Good Samaritan Senior Care. I have Good Samaritan Church of Good Samaritan, SSM Health, Good Samaritan Hospital, Good Samaritan Home, Good Samaritan the Band. Let me see if I can find Good Samaritan scripture. And we will start there, all right? What the heck? Why is it not looking it up? Huh. Huh. My Google shut down for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to restart it here. Here we go. Let me restart it. I will restart it and see what's going on. Maybe it's Chrome. It's Chrome. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Good Samaritan. All right. Luke chapter 10. Right? All right. I didn't miss any questions here. Revived Lady says, will the videos be at 9 each night? No. I am going to try, Revived Lady, to get the videos up no later than 4. I'm going to say anywhere between 2 and 4 every day. Between the hours of 2 o'clock p.m. and 4 Central Time. That's today's video was uploaded at 4. So, yeah, earlier for the Royal We videos. Thank you for asking that, though. Luke chapter 10, 25 to 37. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to Jesus. An expert. Teacher, he asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? What is written in the law? Jesus replied. How do you read it? He answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. You have answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do this and you will live. But he wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor? In reply, Jesus said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So, to a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his donkey, brought him in, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? The expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus told him, go and do likewise. Right. So, fantastic story. So what I take out of that story, without making a big production video out of it, is that what we already know. It matters not if you consider yourself a religious leader, and we already knew that. Jesus was oftentimes at odds with Samaritans and the Pharisees and the Sadducees. That doesn't matter. What matters in that story is the Samaritan who didn't have any status, wasn't known as a religious leader or not, but he had compassion on somebody who was hurt. Right? And that's how we're all to live, really. But what we have to watch out for, is that when we talk about abusive situations with narcissistic people, we cannot jump to the conclusion that these people are just hurting, broken people who need extra help and extra love. This is what gets us all wrapped up and gets us into toxic relationships, is because we think that we're being the good Samaritan by becoming intimate with an abusive person, and that's not at all what it means. Mark Hobbs, what do you say if other people ask why you don't talk to narcissistic family members, especially church? Well, I would just say, plain and simple, that it's a very difficult relationship. It's a toxic relationship. I believe that nowadays we're at a place where people understand that. I would have no problem telling people that the relationship with my in-laws is toxic and we just don't get along. I would just be honest about it now, One of the things we have to stop doing is being afraid to answer that question. Now, it doesn't mean we need to become narcissistic and run our mouths and go out and try and launch smear campaigns, right? That's what narcissists do. They run around and talk to everybody in church and say, hey, so-and-so this, and they're making our family a nightmare, and this, and they just gossip, and start to spread rumors and try their best to smear people's names. So we don't do that, right? We don't promote that. But in the case where somebody asks you, somebody at church comes up and says, why don't you talk to your family? Why don't you talk to these people? And you can simply say, it's a very toxic relationship, and I just don't want that in my life. Oh, but it's your family. No, not buying it. Don't believe it. Too much hurt, right? Maryam share. I have a question that has been bothering me. Well, Maryam, hopefully I will be able to help you out. Every one of my immediate family, my mom, dad, and brother are malignant narcissists. Welcome to the club. You're in the right place, right? While I am a super empath, how is this possible? Very good question, Maryam. If I may, I think I'm going to try to softly answer this without sounding too ridiculous. I think that one of the things that we do with families is we forget that we are individuals down to our even very spiritual nature. We're not the same. Family members are not the same. Despite being of blood, despite having the same mom and dad, despite being raised in the same environment, you're not going to have the same temperament necessarily. You're not going to have the same ideas, the same values, the same beliefs. There are families that, for whatever reason, let's say, and I've met them before, they were all Hindu. One of them took an interest in Christianity, started all kinds of hell in the family, and ended up being kicked out and rejected by her own family because of her views. And this is common. It's not so uncommon when you consider that, listen, we're all individuals. You're not your mom. You're not your dad. You're not your brother. Just because you came out of your mom does not mean you have her mind, have her spirit. Personally, I believe that you are very unique. God has given you your own special uniqueness, whether that's empathy or whether it's violence. And it's up to you what you do with that. And you don't have to be connected to your family. I think that one of the things I talk about, again, I lean on the Bible a lot, Maryam, so I hope you don't mind. I don't know what your beliefs are, but, I always go back to the story of Cain and Abel, two brothers, and obviously they're the first brothers born on the face of this planet. One of them was a murderer, killed his own brother, Cain. Cain killed his own brother, Abel. And so when you look at that, obviously that's a real head scratcher, right? How can a brother kill his own brother? Well, but that's the world we live in, right? So when you ask questions, how can I be empaths and how can they all be narcissists, malignant? Well, how could there be moms out there that throw their own babies in dumpsters? So I think that, which really happens, and it's sad, it's horrible. How can there be children out there who try to kill their parents? There's brothers and sisters that have been fighting. This has been going on since the beginning of time. There's a reason the ancient people put this in the Bible, Cain killing his own brother. There's a profound message in that. And the message is we need to not put so much emphasis on the fact that we come from the same mother and that it's the same blood, because it means nothing when it comes to our spiritual being, when it comes to our uniqueness, when it comes to our identity. The family means nothing unless you fall into the trap of identifying yourself in that, which then you have a little tribe. Your family has a tribalistic structure, which a lot of families do, which operates like a gang. And perhaps you're the type that looks at that and says, that's not right. Because in order to be a part of this tribalistic family and this gang, I have to be a certain way, and I'm not. So if they're all hostile and violent because, well, that's just what our family is, we're badasses and we're malignant and mean and and you're like, I don't want to live like that. Well, then you're going to be the scapegoat, right? You're going to be the one suffering because they're going to look at you like, well, this is who we are. But yet you're the only one that you're the one that realizes, but we don't have to be like that, right? Hopefully that helps answer that question. It's a great question. Again, it dives into the psychology of people, but also just for me, it gets into the the spiritual understanding and of that we're not all the same. Even you're not the same. You're not your mom. You don't have her mind, her heart. You're not your dad. You're not your brothers, and or your sisters. And and one of the things that I think is really interesting is even Jesus said in the New Testament, and I use this all the time because it's true. People ran to him and said, Jesus, your mom and your brothers want to talk to you. And Jesus' response was, who is my mom and who are my brothers? What he's basically saying is when you're an adult, who's my mom and who are my brothers, right? Don't bother me with that, oh, they're your blood, so you've got to be with them. No, Jesus pointed to his disciples, his chosen family, and said, this is my family. This is my mother, my brother, and my sister. And so it's interesting. I think that, again, it just comes down to understanding that you don't have to be like your family. You don't have to at all. Hope that helps. Tanya says, Mark Hobbs, what do you say if other people ask you why you don't talk to your... Well, we already talked about that one. Thank you so... Whoa, Crystal. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Oh, my gosh. I am humbled and I am blessed. Thank you, Crystal, so much. That is huge. I see a rocket guy on a rocket. I'm blessed. I'm blessed by you. Thank you. You just you blessed me. You blessed me. Thank you. Thank you for that. Wow. Thank you. Emily. Let's see. Whoop whoop. The Bible says family. Child of Christ says the Bible says family will turn on you. Yeah. Basically. It's not a whole lot of play. The Bible says honor your mother and father, but other than that, and honor them can mean anything. Honor them can mean you live at a distance, but, if they're elderly and they can't take care of themselves and you have the means to help them out, then you can honor them by helping them pay a bill or something. But it doesn't mean you have to get together with them. In fact, I had an appointment tonight with a couple that's going no contact with the guy's parents because they have really just rejected his wife for like 15 years and really made life miserable for him. And what's interesting about them as we're talking is they still, and the wife's in agreement, even though they're in pain and they're hurting, they pay for the care for the parents because they have some certain special needs. They pay for it. And I told him, I said, I'm proud of you. I mean, you guys get it. You get the and don't get me wrong, they're not strained for money. So don't look at it. I know a lot of people are like, I wouldn't help my parents in need if they're narcissistic. And most of the time when we say stuff like that too, it's because it's difficult to have the means to do that. This particular couple was not short on the means. God has blessed them richly. And so in turn, it's just something that they do. But they're learning how to do it and not care about having an intimate relationship. And I think that's huge. I think that's honoring. That's what I would call honoring thy mother and father, but not having a relationship. And you don't have to have a relationship to honor. You don't have to be intimate to honor. But it's still, and I don't say this to imply that anybody here needs to do something for their parents. Don't. I probably shouldn't have even brought that up because most people here need to stay away from their parents, right? Again, if you don't have the means to be able to offer, then don't. If you do, I think it's just it's kind of the same thing as, look, if a narcissistic person who's bullied you, hurt you, and harassed you is in... I don't want to hear some of your comments on this, but I'm going to say it anyways. If someone who bullied and harassed you is in front of is across the street, running towards your house, and gets hit by a car in the middle of the street in front of you, what are you going to do? Now I know some of you are going to be like, oh yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Shame on me for my thoughts. Shame on y'all for your thoughts in that. No. But, honestly, look, and you were the only other person at home on the street. I mean, would you not call 911 at least? right? Would you not offer some help? Some people are saying, no, that's great, man. I'd just let them lay there. I'd let them lay there and flop around in the middle of the street until they couldn't flop around anymore like a fish. But at any rate, look, it's possible. It's possible to honor without having a relationship. I believe this is what Jesus talked about when he said, love is your enemies. Most people don't understand what that means. It's not love as in be friends with them. It's not that at all. It's just being able to do the right thing if you're able to, right? Again, the Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan who walked by and saw the person was beaten up and dying on the side of the road, right? The religious leaders walked around that person, but the Good Samaritan helped that person, right? That's how you enter the kingdom of heaven. Not to be confused with just throwing yourself out there with people who don't need help and narcissistic people saying, let me help you because you're a broken person and I think that you need love and let me help you with my light. Let me love on you with my light so you can be loving too. That's not helping a person, right? That's trying to change a person, and we can't do that, right? We get our butts kicked by narcissists every time. Helping a person is exactly that. They're hit by a car, they can't move, their leg has been, they're in the ocean and their leg gets bit off by a shark. You run and get help. That's being helpful. That's being a good Samaritan, being responsive to real situations. That's being a good Samaritan. Hopefully that makes sense. Or am I just blabbering? Am I blabbering? Y'all are lost saying, Kevin, what are you talking about, man? You better calm down, Kevin. Marianne, thank you. Thank you. Crystal Jean. Crystal Jean, such a blessing. You're such a blessing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see, I'm looking for some more here. Emily had a young sister who usurped her. Right on. Well, I was blabbering, and it looks like you all are just chatting, enjoying each other's company. That's great. Yeah. See, Tanya's got it right. You can love someone, but that does not mean you have to be near them. Right. And you also don't have to love them to the point of where it's exhausting you mentally and emotionally, right? That's not love. Something else. What did Mariah Carey have? I'm interested in your all's conversation. Let's see. What did Mariah Carey have? Oh, hey, thanks, Mark. Mark shined a light for us on what it means to honor. It doesn't mean to love or esteem. It means to don't take lightly. That's great. Which is kind of the same thing. If you see somebody who is in desperate need of help, it doesn't matter if they're a narcissist or not. Don't take the situation lightly. Do something. That's all it is. That's the point of the Good Samaritan story. And most of us. And here's the thing. Look, we can be mad at narcissistic people all the live long day. I mean, I've been mad at them too, and hurt and crushed, but just because of our basic character. I mean, you and I know me. And if something horrible were to happen, we are the types that would in some way offer to be there. It just comes to the territory of being empathic. So don't be mad at your gifts. Don't hate it. Just know that it's going to be used. And who knows, and that's what it's for. And it might be used in a situation with a narcissist who's crushed you in life. But you never know. You may be in a situation where it comes down to you to do the right decision in order to, who knows, save somebody or whatever. And you may have to make that, but it's in your nature. So it's not something that you're going to even have to try to do. But now I'm still curious to know what Mariah Carey had wrong, and also what you guys are talking about the brain control of Paris Hilton. TSK brainwashing is bad. I don't know these things about these things. Okay, so Mark asks, why is it narcissists love to abuse police resources? Not sure. I'm not sure. I imagine that police resources. I imagine that narcissists just want to anything they can get to sound good and sound right and get out of situations, right? They're always narcissists and police, psychopaths, sociopaths, and police have always had a long history of a very difficult relationship. I mean, how many of you are aware that most of the people police run in, most of the people police run in and arrest to go to jail for a long time, we're talking about narcissists, right? Psychopaths, sociopaths, robbers, thieves, killers, murderers, violent, hostile, aggressive, rageful, running from the law. And all these people, the interesting thing about it is they really don't believe they do anything wrong, which means that they can easily try, in their mind, they're getting to get out of the situation. And so they mess with police resources. They lie to them because they're able to easily do this stuff. Again, to them, it's right. What they're doing is right. To us, it makes no sense, but to them, it's right. Maryam, gotta find that question. Maryam says, what's the difference between a malignant narcissist and a sociopath? Are they the same thing? I would say yes, and I'll tell you why, Maryam, because we use narcissism as a kind of a blanket term. It's imagine it's an umbrella, and under the umbrella, you have all kinds of weird personality disorders. So another way to look at it is just evil, right? You have evil that exists in the world, and you have good that exists in the world, and I believe that science and psychology have been trying to determine what evil is, right? It's kind of like, again, I talked about Cain and Abel earlier, just a bit ago. Okay, one was a murderer. Cain was a murderer. Abel was an obedient person. Well, what's the difference between them? And both of them were raised by the same family. So what is the difference? I believe that's the question that science has always had. They're trying to figure that out. What is it that makes Cain do what he does? What is it that makes... And I think it's because it's too difficult to just understand that God said there is darkness and there is light, which has been created since the beginning, the foundation. In fact, darkness, chaos existed first. I'm not saying that therefore it belongs to darkness. It doesn't. But darkness is the absence of light, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that when light comes into the situation, it doesn't get rid of darkness, but it divides it and creates something else. And so people who are on the side of light, for example, who just can't fathom the hostile, aggressive, volatile, violent nature of the dark chaos, that's the light. And both exist in this world. And so anyways, why am I going off on this tangent? Well, I believe that science and psychologists just have a hard time making it that simple. So they're like, no, we got to find out the patterns. And so they come up with psychopaths and sociopaths, and they're like, okay, psychopaths live like this, and they do kill, but only like this, and then they do this, and sociopaths will do this, and they're more malicious, and you know what I mean? And so, but evil is evil. But I think that they're just really trying to nail down and really figure out what makes a person tick and talk, and they'll never find out. So they have these, I mean, they're getting closer, but ultimately it just comes down to there's good and there's bad. And I know that's the simplest way to look at it. So with that, I will tell you that I refer to it all as narcissism, and only because it right now it's the fitting word that covers all of that, the narcissistic rage, the violence, the hostility. I know that there is a clear definition for narcissistic personality disorder. I get that. However, if we look at the narcissism traits, which are inherently selfish and grandiose, well, you can put any murderer and thief in those categories. You can put them there. And so therefore, I think it's safe to say, well, narcissism just covers a whole gamut of stuff. It's almost just like calling it evil, but without calling it evil, right? So yes, I would say people who are in their narcissistic personality disorder, I would say that's evil. If they're lying, cheating, stealing, hostile, angry, aggressive, they're evil, because that is evil stuff. So I don't think that there's any difference. I never talked to anybody who found out they were dealing with a sociopath or psychopath, and they're like, oh boy, okay. Well, it all makes sense, and I feel better now. No, the relationship still sucks. The person is still violent and hostile. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter knowing if you're dealing with... Listen, I am, as we speak, I'm going to admit to you, I had a lengthy discussion with some close people of mine about the situation that I was in with some certain in-laws. And the topic came up that one of them, who was particularly mean towards me, is bipolar. And I have been, sadly, going against my own advice here, contemplating and thinking about having a discussion with this person. Just saying, hey, be honest with me. Are you bipolar? Is that why you say the things you say? Do you have bipolar personality disorder? And where I have to be careful with this, or borderline, or one of them, right? It doesn't matter. Borderline, bipolar. Where I have to be careful with this is that a part of me thinks that I'll feel better, right? If I have this conversation, I'll suddenly feel better and be like, I just wish you would have told me that you had bipolar, and then, all the attacks and stuff, then it would have made sense. And I would have been, but I don't think I'm really going to feel that way. I'm still going to feel like, you had no right to do and say the things that you did. You don't. You just don't. Bipolar, borderline, it just makes no sense. It's not justifiable to me, and nor would it make me feel any better. And so I don't think that for anybody, knowing whether or not you're dealing with somebody who's borderline or bipolar or a cluster B, it's just not going to help. It's not. It's not going to make the situation feel any better. It's not going to make you look back at the times they hit you, called you names, cussed you out, threw you out, stole from you, robbed you. It's not going to make any of that just go away. It's not going to make any of that seem like, oh, now I get it. Okay, you were a psycho. You're a psychopath. Well, okay, well, I've been too hard on you by going no contact because, you're a psychopath. So it's completely understandable why you literally threw kitchen knives my way. I get it. You couldn't help it. You're a psychopath. Okay, I forgive you now. I just don't think it's going to work like that. And it shouldn't. Abuse is abuse. Thank you. Minnesota Joe said it perfectly. Yep. What's a tool for the narc? Huh. Yeah. Raging is raging. Exactly. Yeah. Raging is raging. Yeah. Yeah, I don't look. I think that this what we're all broken to some extent, and that's something too. One of the things that bothers me about faith and is that we're all broken. I'm broken. I've been broken many times, but I'm not out trying to hurt other people. So I don't buy that as the reason for narcissistic abuse, for psychopaths, for sociopaths. It's not a matter of being broken. It's just evil. What can I say? It's just evil. It is evil. Yeah. That makes sense. Evil people hurt people. Child of Christ said it right. You know, I was involved in wow, Rissville. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being you. Wow, I am blessed beyond words tonight. You all are are incredible. Thank you. Thank you, Riss. Thank you. For real. And Tanya, thank you. I see you. I see everybody. Give Tanya just some added girls some round of applause. I love seeing that Tanya here sweeping up the riffraff. They don't stand a chance with Tanya in the house, man. She is like, I just see him. I see him come up. This comment was erased by Tanya, and it's some name that never even heard of. I don't know. Thank you, Tanya, for being you. Thank you. Yeah, so back to what I was saying, I believe it, like exactly what Marianne is saying right now. We are all broken, but evil people hurt other people, not broken people. It's not hurt people. It's evil people hurt people, and that's the truth of it. I was involved with a program called Celebrate Recovery, and that was the Celebrate Recovery motto. I counseled people, and I was a sponsor for people who are struggling with alcohol addictions or sex addictions or whatever, and one of the themes was hurt people hurt people. And I get what they're saying. They're saying that somebody who is who's an alcoholic and addicted can inadvertently be hurting others. And so, yes, in that case, a hurt person is hurting others, right? If I had an alcoholic mother, did my mom's alcoholism hurt me? Yes. But was it the same type? But it was an indirect hurt. It was a hurt of a consequence of her hurting herself more than anything else. But when we talk about, but I don't look at that as the same thing as the violence and hostility of somebody who wants to destroy me out of hatred. So what my mom's alcoholism represented was not something out of hatred towards me, right? But what we see with narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths is they act out of hatred towards others. And to me, there's a clear difference. So I get where Celebrate Recovery was saying hurt people, but when it comes to narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, no. That's not hurt people hurting people. That's straight up evil. You might as well say that's the devil's just hurting, right? Poor devil. He's hurting people, so it hurts people. No, it's a willful choice. It's a godlike complex. They have no God other than themselves. They have no fear of the Lord. Narcissists have no fear of the Lord because they believe they are the Lord. And it's craziness. Yep. Child of Christ is right. It's all intentional. It's done on purpose. It is. They do it on purpose. And then it's like they push the buttons, and then sometimes they go too far and then come back and try to hoover you, but hopefully just don't let it work. Don't be hoovered back. Don't be hoovered back. Let them go. Cut them out, because it's a never-ending cycle with those people. Never-ending cycle. Yep. Well, listen. Yeah. Mark is right. Narcissists hate you, but they want to have you in their life. That is by far the most selfish thing that these narcissistic people can do to others. I hate you, but I want you in my life. Right? It's like, why? You hate me. What do you want me for? Well, and that's the scary part. It's terrifying. It's a terrifying thought. What do they want with you? Well, they want you to be their slave. They want you to do whatever they want you to do. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. This is the whole concept of being objectified. You're no more than a tool to them, a thing to be used. It's brutal. It's brutal. Yeah. Jacqueline says narcs know who and when they want to be nice. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Ellen C says bipolar and BPD usually is just a diagnosis to excuse their behavior. Sociopaths just don't care, but that's my experience. Wow. Wow. I appreciate that, Ellen C. I appreciate the boldness in that statement that bipolar and BPD usually is just a doctor diagnosis. So, again, going back to the conversation of how there's good and there's evil in its simplest form. Science and doctors and psychologists have been trying to meticulously create names for these patterns. And like she said, probably to try to excuse it. And that's exactly what we do. And this is the danger of it. We think if we can find out if they're bipolar or borderline, it's some kind of an excuse. It's not. And we shouldn't let doctors or psychologists or scientists tell us that we need to excuse. Oh, we need to excuse that person for going and shooting up a building because, well, they're sociopaths or whatever. It doesn't work like that, right? And churches run the risk of doing this too. Oh, go out and love them. They need love and they're just hurt. No. Bad news. Revived Lady has an interesting thought here. Narcs hate because they are unable to mock kindness very long. Yeah, true. And they're unable to hold up the facade of kindness. And so it starts to irritate them. It really does. It really does. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Revived Lady says, mock the person they're mocking. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen all. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to sign off and go to sleep. And I bid you all a good evening. Thank you for your blessings in my life tonight. Watch out on the Royal We channel tomorrow for Tuesday's tips. It's going to be a different style of video than today. And every week, and be sure to comment, like, and support, the videos on the Royal We channel. Share them if you can. In fact, I would appreciate all of that. Anything you could do to help and spread awareness and share these things. And I look forward to putting that video up. And then Wednesday is going to be reaction. I don't know who I'm going to react to yet. I haven't put that, but I want to do a reaction video for you. Thursday is going to be thoughts. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship. For those of you who are into the ancient literature of the Bible, follow along with us. We're in the book of Exodus. That's at 9 o'clock a.m. on Saturday morning. And we are moving right along with that. Royal We Fellowship is a great time of fellowship. It's a great time of being in the Word. And thank you, Tanya, for posting that. And I'll let you all go. Have a great night. Love you all so much. Thank you for being here. So happy, so blessed by all of you. Thank you. Love you all. Have a great night. And we'll be back next Monday night. Some of you, I'll see you on Saturday. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.